Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped and welcome to beautiful Scotland. This is the facelift Kia EV6 GT. It has more power than the previous model, more torque than the previous model, a bigger battery, more range, faster charging, and unbelievably is over £2,000 cheaper than the previous model. And it's also got fake gears. Oh yes! It's got gears. Gears in an electric car. They're fake, they're a gimmick, but I don't care. Now, I try my best to be technically correct when I'm filming. I'm not the best filmer in the world. And I know that you're meant to have the sun behind the camera pointing at you, but every now and again you need to break that rule when you come round a corner and you have that as a backdrop. Also, I've got a busy road next to me, so apologies if there's any cars going by, but I had to kind of do my first bit to camera here because that is a beautiful backdrop. We're just near the Glenshee ski station here in Scotland. It's a beautiful day as well. Now, EV6, the facelift EV6, I've already filmed with last year, and I'm going to try not to go over the same ground. So if you haven't seen that video already, I'm going to put a link in the top right hand corner and also in this video's description. You can go on over and look at that because it's quite interesting because I have a pre-facelift and a facelift car next to each other. The main differences are on the front. There's a very different styled front. I think they've cleaned the front up a lot. They've made it look a lot prettier. And then the interior is on another level, but we'll get to that. But in terms of EV6 GT, I first drove the EV6 GT out in Sweden a few years ago. And I remember we slid it around, we had it on a test track, we did 0 to 60 tests, we really gave it a hard time, and it was a very, very impressive vehicle. But this car, well, this car has just taken that already brilliant EV and made it even better. So firstly, it's got more power. It's got a 303 kilowatt, which in old money is 406 bhp motor driving the rear axle, and a 175 kilowatt or 234 bhp motor driving the front axle. Now that adds up to a total of 641 bhp, which would be 650 metric horsepower and 770 newton meters. That's an increase of 64 bhp and 30 newton meters over the pre-facelift model. This car is fast. The battery's bigger too. It's gone from 77.4 to 84 kilowatt hours. That's an 8.5% increase. But even though the battery's bigger, it's actually a kilo lighter. So the curb weight of this car is just 2,200 kilos. So a bigger battery means more miles, 16 more miles to be precise. The WLTP range for this car is now 279 miles. And this car's based on an 800 volt architecture, so it will support up to 258 kilowatt charging if you can find a charger that fast. Now what that means is you can go from a 10 to 80% charge in just 18 minutes. Kia quote an efficiency number of 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour in urban traffic, 3 miles per kilowatt hour in combined cycle running. But if you drive it like you stole it, like I'm doing today on these beautiful Scottish roads, you're gonna be lucky to see 2, maybe 2.1 to 2.2 if the dashboard readings I'm seeing today are anything to go by. But hey, I'm having fun and enjoying the roads. Let's go and do that a little bit more, shall we? Okay, let's go and enjoy some of these amazing roads. What a location that is, though. Absolutely incredible. This is the old military road. Okay, I'm going to start off gently in normal mode. I guess it's worth pointing out that even though this car has a bigger battery, it's got more range, it's got more power, it's faster, it's actually cheaper than the outgoing model as well by just over 2,000 quid. These start from a smidge under £60,000 plus options. The interior now of the EV6 is such a nicer place to be. There is no shiny piano black material. All the nice materials, it's like a textured satin finish, and it's just really nice. There's no kind of magnet for fingerprints. There's a tiny bit of black just above the main controls there. The steering wheel is so much nicer than the old one. But let's just briefly talk about the ride. So even though the spring rates have been softened up a little bit compared with the pre-facelift model, the ride is still quite firm. And I get that because it's got that sporty edge, but I think for some people it will be too firm. I don't mind because I'm used to a mini JCW and they're firm as hell. But it is reasonably firm ride. When you get a nice bit of tarmac like this, actually, it's not too bad at all. But then, oh, what a bit of road this is, I mean, seriously. Then the steering. Now, interestingly for me, the steering, the first maybe half an inch to an inch of turn doesn't really do anything. It doesn't feel sharp at all. It feels quite lazy. Once you get a bit more than that, or you engage into a corner, it starts to get its act in order and starts to have quite a nice feel. And I think that's partly due to the GT characteristics that Kia are trying to put into this car. It's not, even though it's got lots of horsepower, it really is trying to be a GT. It's a long distance cruiser. Oh, look at this road. Wow. Come over that brow, you're going to actually get some air, I think. What a beautiful bit of tarmac. And I haven't even tried to push on yet. The roads up here are simply magnificent. What a place to come for a car launch. Now, even in normal mode, you pull out of a corner like that and it's just instant performance. Noise. Let's talk about noise for a little bit. Again, I guess in correlation with that more relaxed GT, more grown-up feel, the noise in here is excellent. There is noise cancellation technology going in. In lots of modern day cars, you pump noise into the cabin. In normal mode, in this car, they pump noise into the cabin from the motor, but it's actually inverted noise, so it cancels out the noise of the motor, very much like the technology used in noise cancelling headphones. You know, you take two waves, invert one, add them together, and they cancel each other out. It's the same use of technology, and what that means is it's really quiet in here and very relaxed, even though you've got so much performance and an absolutely amazing bit of road. Wowzers. Do you know what? I think we're going to have to turn around and go back up this one. This is beautiful. Now, with 650 horsepower to put through the tarmac, you need the right tyres. And it is great to see that this car is on Michelin's, but for me, the best all-round performance tyre Michelin make, the Pilot Sport 4S. And so far, while I've been driving here, these have been providing an amazing amount of confidence in the car. It's clearly a pretty heavy car at 2,200 kilos. All the power and all the torque, it puts a huge strain on the tyres, but these really are up to the job. I've actually turned round and I'm going back up the same bit of road because it's so wonderful. Now, next thing I'm going to do is the drive mode button. I can go up into sport mode. Now, there is an eco and a snow mode as well. I have driven around in eco a little bit, and to be quite honest, the car's got so much power, even in eco mode, it feels quick. Snow mode, there's not any snow today, although we are heading up to a ski station and one of the highest bits of tarmac in the UK. But the mode I really want to go into is if you hit the little lime green GT button, that gives you access to everything. It backs off the traction control and the stability systems a little bit just to give you a more edgy car. And then the bit we all want to play with is I'm going to hit the star button. And I've now got gears. I've got, oh my days. Now, the really interesting thing is if you, oh my God, this car's so fast. If you hit the rev limiter, it just sits on the torque, just like the Ioniq 5N. Now, this gearbox technology has come from Hyundai. It's the same, effectively the same technology you get in Ioniq 5N, but it's delivered in a very different way, and I find that really interesting. You know, we've just been talking about the more relaxed, grown-up GT car feel. Well, in Ioniq 5N, firstly, there are 8 simulated gears. In this car, there are only 6. The noise, there's 4 different levels of noise. I've got it on the most noisy setting, and I can only just hear it. It's ever so subtle, and I think that will probably appeal to quite a few people who think the Ioniq 5N is maybe a bit gimmicky. But the functionality of the gears is exactly the same. It's that just gives you that extra level of engagement that you just don't get in a normal EV because you've got that single gear. Don't get me wrong, they are incredibly quick machines. But this just, you know, you've got a corner coming up, you can get on the brakes, this brow here, I'll get on the brakes, I'll just drop it down into 3rd gear, pull away, then I'm in the right torque band to accelerate away over the brow of the hill. It gives me that extra dimension of driving, which is just fantastic. And at this time of, woohoo, bit of air there, at this time of night when the road is literally empty, apart from a sheep, which is just there, oh my days, what a thing. Now, all I would say is the rev counter that I've got, I'd like a little bit more information about the rev counter. It's quite subtle. The noise is quite subtle. What I want is some change-up lights. I do want a little bit more of a sporty edge. So either change-up lights in the head-up display or a rev counter visualized in the head-up display, or something a little bit more, because when you're on it and you're concentrating on the road, because the audible cues are a little bit more subtle than they would be in a piston car, there are times when you basically hit the limiter and then you end up kind of with a really sort of jerky drive, and I'd rather have notification that I'm getting towards the top end of the rev limit. But if I just come down in here, I'm in top gear at the moment, down into 5th, into 4th, into 3rd. My goodness me. The EV6 GT pre-facelift was a great car. This is magnificent. If I just come down here, I want to just show you an example of the acceleration, but I'm going to use the manual gears. So come to a dead stop and see. So it redlines in theory at 6,000 RPM, but it's quite difficult to hit that gear change at the right point, because the first couple of gears come through so quickly. You almost have to preempt it, otherwise you're going to hit the gear limiter. And if I just go along quite amusingly, I can, if I'm in 2nd gear, I'm on a National 60 road. That's me on the limiter of 58 miles an hour. It's just wicked. What a thing. What an absolutely wonderful thing. So as I've said, the facelift that the EV6 went through last year improved the cabin so much. The steering wheel for me is the standout feature. It's so much better than the old one. The removal of all the old piano black plastics. And in this GT version, the choice of materials and the fit and finish have just been taken up to the next level. The steering wheel has a lovely leather finish with the luminous green stitching on both the seats. You've got the lime green GT button where all the magic happens when you push that one, a lime green 12 o'clock stripe, and then just little details on the actual vents themselves. The infotainment system works really well, as it does in all Kia models, to be fair. Yes, there's a lot of touch, but you've still got my favourite menu there that will switch between hotkeys into the infotainment system or your HVAC controls. All your heated and cooled seats are on physical buttons, and then you've got a little wireless charge mat for your phone there. It's just a really nice place to be. And then because this is the performance version, seats are so important. Not only do these seats look fantastic, but they provide a huge amount of comfort and support as well. We've spent a long time in the cars over the last couple of days, and I've not been found wanting for comfort. It's a beautiful place to spend a long journey in here. Wow. So what are my final impressions of the Kia EV6 GT facelift? Well, it's multiple cars in one, this. Firstly, at the moment, I'm just in comfort mode. I'm driving a very fast EV. I've got instant throttle response, a really comfortable driving position, a well-equipped cabin. And it's not that different to lots of other performance EVs, if I'm honest. If I hit the drive mode and go up into sport, things sharpen up, things get a little bit quicker. And I've now got a far more aggressive car. I've got some engine noises coming in, and it's really very impressive. The steering feel for me could be better. It's just a little bit vague to start with, but once it loads up, it's really nice. But when you're on a beautiful bit of road like this, the mode you really want to go into, the mode that differentiates this car from all its competitors, bar one, hit the GT button, get access to everything, hit the star button, and then come down through the gearbox. And now I am in a completely different driving experience. I've got the tactility and the engagement of a gearbox. I've got the ballistic performance, the instant torque of an electric car. I've got the best of both worlds. And as a driving experience, it's right up there, helped by the fact I'm on the most beautiful bit of tarmac. Now for me, you could consider this car to be basically a half-price Porsche Taycan. And I know the brand, good as the Kia brand is now, it doesn't have the cachet of Porsche. But I've spent quite a lot of time recently in Taycan, which is an exceptionally good car. The Taycan has much better steering feel than this car, but honestly, from a performance point of view, there's not a great deal in it, unless you're in one of the Turbo or Turbo S variants of Taycan. But what Taycan can't do, and this one can, is the levels of driver engagement by the fake gears. And I know to some of you the fake gears are just going to be, or feel like, a complete waste of time. But I tell you now, they're not. They're not a waste of time. They are simply magnificent and just add to the driving experience. Now, what I would like is, firstly, I think I've mentioned a little bit more notification about the changing. I asked for change-up lights. There are some change-up lights on the dash. They're just not specific or not particularly stand out. I'd like them in the head-up display. But the other thing is, it only revs to 6,000 RPM. Well, you could rev it to whatever you like. You could rev it to like 8. But I understand why Kia haven't done that, because they wanted to maintain the laid-back GT nature of the car. And they've done that really well. Let's talk about the GT element then, shall we? GT for me is long distance drives cross country, and lots of you are going to say, well, hold on a minute, a couple of 100 miles, 250 miles at best, that's not great, even though it supports ultra rapid charging. And I agree, and that's where Taycan would win out again, especially the latest variant of Taycan with a bigger battery. You'll easily do 300 miles in one of those things. This, not so much. I'm averaging around about sort of anywhere from 2 to 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's going to munch through my range and munch through my battery pretty quickly, to be fair. But when you're on a road like this with no cars about and sight lines into the distance and curves and challenging tarmac, this car stands up so well. It's a hugely impressive bit of kit, and for 60,000 quid, yes please. I've literally just driven the Genesis GV60 Sport Plus, which is their high performance model, but that was like £74,000. That makes this car look like the bargain of the century. 60 grand for one of these, take my money. And the police would probably end up taking your license, to be honest, because it's a pretty rapid car. Anyway, let me know what you think of this facelift EV6 GT. But for now, from the beautiful hills of Scotland, I'll see you on the next film. You take care, guys. Drive safe. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. What a car.